Okay, and here we are at the top of page 4. Hopefully you're not getting too sentimental here. It's our last page of notes together for this term. So page 647 is where you'll find a little reminder in the book about the vertical line test. And then let's look at some of the different practice plus and then an application exercise down at the bottom. So we'll start with this practice plus problem. Express each function as a set of ordered pairs. So it's telling you it's a function. It's telling you that if you were to line up the domains and the range, or if you were to graph this, it would pass the vertical line test. Pardon me. It would pass the arrow test. But here's what we want to do. We want to take this function and express it as a set of ordered pairs. So what we're looking for is a set. So cute little French. They're not really French. And then you have your XY pairs. Okay, so that's what an ordered pair is, your little x, comma, y. So we're going to want some numbers here. And they give you some very specific directions here. So here's the function, g of x is equal to x minus absolute value of x. So what we're saying is here's what's going to happen to x. You put a number in, and you take the absolute value of it, and then you subtract it from the original number. And then you get an output. So the input is your domain, pardon me, and the output is your range. Then they list what the domain is. In other words, they're going to tell you, they're telling you what your x values are. So it's the set of integers. Integers are the numbers that would be on a number line. And so it's from -2 to 2 inclusive. So it's the numbers -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. It includes 2 and -2, and it's all the integers between -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. Okay, so what that means is we're going to end up with a set where here's all your x values. There's 5 of them. Did I give myself enough room? Barely. So here's your x's, -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. We need to come up with what are the y values, what's the output every time you put one of these in. So you would start with, okay, well, what's g of -2? What's going to happen to -2 when you put it in? So we have our x, and then we have our minus the absolute value of x. So let's put in -2. And you get -2 minus absolute value of -2 is just +2. -2 minus 2 is equal to a -4. So when you put in -2, you get -4 out. Okay. Next one, g of -1 is equal to x minus the absolute value of x. So let's put in our -1 here. That's the x we're going to put in. -1, -1. So what's going to happen to -1? Well, it's just plain old -1 minus the absolute value of -1 is +1. So -1 minus 1, and you're going to get -2. So there's your second pairing. And so on. You would keep going. The next one would be g of 0. So it'd be your x minus your absolute value of x. So here goes 0. Well, that's just 0 minus 0. You're just going to get 0. And then you'd put in 1 the same way, and 2 the same way. In this case, you put in 1, and because they're all positive now, the absolute value is just going to end up subtracting what you already have. So you can just keep getting zeros for these answers. -2, -4, -1, -2, and all of a sudden 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0. Okay. So I didn't finish doing all the substituting in, but you can see what happens here. G of 1 gives you 0, and G of 2 gives you 0. You can plug those back in, write it out as needed for yourself if it's not quite clear.